Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Cavs Insider, our pregame report for game number 3 of the 2022-2023 season. It's the home opener. Finally, tonight we get a chance to play at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in a game that counts. It's the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Washington Wizards at 7 o'clock in Cleveland. Brendan Gulick and Jon Rudder with you. I'm from home tonight. John is down at the arena, or I guess it's the Fieldhouse. I don't know. I'm going to end up saying that all the time, whether it's the arena or the Fieldhouse. He's on site. He's at the facility. And John just had a chance to talk with Coach Bickerstaff along with the rest of the press before tonight's game. Let's give you our pregame report. Why don't we start with right off the top the question that every single person wants to know about what's going on with the Cavs. It's Darius Garland and his current eye situation. It's obviously not good, but it sounds like there is some good news about it. What would Coach have to say?
Yeah, it sounds like he is slowly getting better. That is a slow process. He kind of emphasized that today, and he really gave no time frame for when we could maybe see him back on the floor. Obviously, he is out again this evening. Still sounds like there's a lot of swelling there. Sounds like that eye is still swollen shut. JB said he talked to him either yesterday or the day before via FaceTime, and he said when Darius holds it open, he can see just fine. But the problem is you can't hold it open and dribble at the same time, so that makes life a little difficult for him. But it's good to see that there's no structural damage with that. He seems like he's in good spirits. He was live tweeting during the game last night, talking about watching the game with only one good eye. But and that's what JB said. He's in good spirits right now. He's frustrated that he can't be out there right now with the team, but it seems like he is progressing. It is just a very slow progress process. So we're still waiting to find out exactly when we could see him on the floor. It doesn't look like it could be tonight. The good news is the Cavs have a couple of days to get back to the practice floor on Monday and Tuesday before they play again on Wednesday. So maybe that gives him a couple of extra days to heal up and maybe get back by Wednesday.
I mean, I just consider this to be great news that there's nothing wrong with the eyeball, right? Like literally hold your eye open. Yes, I can see. That to me, that's the most important part of this. Like the swelling is eventually going to go away. The fact that his vision is not restricted, at least as of at this point, that certainly seems to be the most promising part for me. So I'm glad to hear that. How about the guys that are going to be on the floor tonight? To nobody's surprise whatsoever, Donovan Mitchell's really good at basketball. We saw that again last night. Thankfully, he played great as the Cavs gave the Bulls the most lopsided loss in that series history. Obviously a great night. This is the first back-to-back of the year. So I guess we'll see about, all the beat test and all the fresh legs and things we've heard about all off season and all preseason. Now we're going to see it put to test with the first back-to-back. What do you think the kinds of challenges the Wizards are going to present in that regard?
Well, JB talked about, Bradley Beal, Kyle Kuzma, obviously two talented guys that they're going to have their focus on. The good news is that this isn't a very deep team that Washington has. Outside of those three and Kristaps Porzingis, you throw him in there. Outside of those three, like not a whole lot of depth. So when you look at the Cavs lineup and specifically what that bench has done the past couple of nights, I think that is some good news. We'll get to maybe Jetty here in just a minute, but look, he specifically singled out Kyle Kuzma. Said they don't want to make him just a catch and shoot guy. They want to make him work for his opportunities and move without the basketball. So I would imagine that there's going to be somebody sticking pretty close to him at all times tonight, and they're gonna force him to beat him more than just catch and shoot. So that's kind of the biggest challenge that they're looking for as far as Washington comes in here, and then the mentality of just coming in here on a back-to-back. I think that it helps that this is the home opener. He talked at length towards the end of the post-game press conference about being in front of these fans. He said Cleveland sports fans are smart fans. They don't just make noise just to make noise. They're very engaged in the game, and they pay attention. They know what's going on. I think that it's been 5 months since this team has played. More than 5 months since this team has played a real game in front of fans here at the Fieldhouse. I think they're relishing that opportunity. I think that Donovan is relishing that opportunity to get out in front of them. It is a whiteout here at the Fieldhouse. We saw how cool the whiteout looked in Toronto. I can imagine how it's going to look here at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse tonight.
Cavs have played well in their home openers. They are 11-6 in their last 17 home openers going back to the 2005-2006 season. So they have most of the time fared pretty well in that situation. That's great. Hey, you mentioned Jetty. I don't think we should go any further without, kind of taking the conversation that direction because Jetty has been outstanding so far in his first 2 games of the season in maybe ways that are more impressive than what we've seen other guys come off the bench. You know what the capability is of some of these other players, but especially with Darius's absence right now, and unfortunately with the lack of offense that we're getting from Isaac Okoro, to see Jetty playing as well as he is just critical.
Yeah, and what a first two nights that he's had so far this season. 17, followed it up with 15 the other night. Look, this is the production that we all knew he was capable of. We've all been waiting for the consistency. The first two games are a very small sample size, but you have to like what you see and on both ends of the floor from Jetty. JB said that he's playing with joy, and I think that that's something that maybe underscored, or we may have overlooked in the fact that when a guy plays a little looser, sometimes the success inherently comes a little bit more easily. I think that that's what we're seeing tonight. He said that JP said that he is noticing that Jetty's playing with joy. Kevin Love the other night also said that Jetty is playing with joy, and JB said perhaps the most concerning part is that he and Kevin are thinking the same thing of all of that. But that just goes to show you what the production that we're seeing from Jetty on the floor. Look, we know that this guy can shoot it. We want to see that consistency. I think that, it may be no secret that a bench role is probably more of maybe what we could expect from Jetty, and how he adjusted to that perhaps is maybe one of the bigger questions that we were going to ask and see how his role was going to progress as the season opened up. The early returns are that he has embraced that full top notch, and good on him. I think that maybe, I don't know if this is the best way to put it, but maybe a little bit of less is more with Jetty out on the floor when he's out there in those certain spurts, specifically with different personnel and different groupings that he's going to get out there. He's going to have those open shots. He just has to knock them down.
Yeah, and plenty of reason to think that he is going to continue to do that, because we know he's capable of it. Interested to see the starting lineup tonight. We should get that, sometime in the 6 o'clock hour. They usually don't tell us too early before the game, but obviously, yesterday you had Mobley, Allen, LeVert, Isaac Okoro, and Donovan Mitchell. Is it possible that we could see Jetty instead of Isaac? I suppose it's possible, but whether or not he starts, I don't think is going to necessarily directly reflect his minutes. I think we're certainly going to see whoever's got the hot hand get opportunities. And to the point on Donovan, we didn't make this before, but his last 6 games when playing against the Wizards have been pretty darn good. 32, 28, 42, 42, 30, and 35. I think we'll take any of that tonight.
So we could be seeing perhaps game number 3 of 30-plus points from Donovan Mitchell, the first Cavalier to start a season with back-to-back 30-point games. And, hey, I think everybody in the field house tonight would like to see game number 3. I know that he's juiced up for this one. We talked at length about this multiple times throughout the preseason and through training camp that, he's excited to hear Ahmad Crump call out his name for that starting lineup. He said that he was a Cavs fan as a kid, loved the starting lineups with the fire and everything when LeBron was here. I actually had a chance to talk to Ahmad earlier this week, and he heard that. He knows that Donovan is waiting to hear it. So Ahmad's even got a little extra juice for tonight. He said he might have to give him one of those 30-second intros to start the game.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm looking forward to it, and I know that Ahmad is too. Celebrating his 20th season with the Cavs this year.
Isn't that cool? He's been here forever, man. I mean, he is as identifiable with this franchise as anybody. I mean,
and he loves that role. He absolutely loves that
exaggeration.
And just completely relishes the opportunity to be an ambassador for the team. Talks about his love for growing the game of basketball and connecting with fans who might not have an opportunity to get the chance to come down to Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse and see the game. So good for him, and I hope that he enjoys tonight. I'm sure that he will.
And you know what's just so cool? Like that, to me, that feels like it's something that's pretty unique about the Cavs. And like that's no slight to game day hosts elsewhere. In fact, when Eric Mayer and certainly with Gabriela Cruz, and I know Gab has continued to do it with the Cleveland Guardians, I thought they were so good together for several years hosting Indians games and obviously now Guardians games. And I know Eric is doing some other things, but Gabrielle is fantastic. And yet there just aren't that many places where a game day host, not just a public address announcer, is that identifiable with a franchise the way Ahmad is in Cleveland. It's really, really cool. And I think it's awesome that somebody who's got the recognition, the public persona of Donovan Mitchell to come out and say that and recognize that just further pushes how cool and unique that is about Cleveland. I think it's awesome. So looking
Yeah,
forward
he
to that.
said it was very humbling to hear that. So, and as it would be. So looking
Sure.
forward to see what Ahmad comes up with tonight, and looking forward to see what the Cavs and Donovan come up with tonight.
Game 1 at home. That's awesome. Game 3 of the season. Cavs are 1-1. Obviously come in with a bunch of momentum after beating up Chicago last night. Wizards have 2 wins so far this season. They beat up on the Pacers in Game 1, and they too beat the Chicago Bulls in their second game of the season when they beat Chicago 2 nights ago. So we'll look forward to seeing how things go when the Cavs get out on the floor here in just a little bit. For Jon Rudder, I'm Brendan Gulick. That wraps up our pregame coverage. We got a boatload of stuff coming for you. Go over to CavsInsider.com. We're a brand new channel. If you're just joining our community for the first time, we're part of the FanNation network in the Sports Illustrated Media Group. You can follow us on social media at CavsInsider_FN for FanNation. And we'll have plenty of content posted post-game as well, including a conversation just like this with John and I to tell you our thoughts on the game after the Cavs hopefully beat up on the Wizards tonight. Okay? We'll see you soon. Thanks for joining us, and head to CavsInsider.com for the latest.